that we need in many places. What we're going to talk about in this one is the include template tag, so we can do this more of the same, just on a little bit more of a different level. So what I mean by include is sometimes you'll have a nav bar or a navigation bar that you might want to have in multiple places. So to allow this to be showing up in multiple places, or allowing me to edit just that nav bar, not having to go into the base every time, I can actually come into my templates and let's just make a brand new one called the navbar.html. And this itself will just be the nav bar. It's not going to have anything else. It's not really going to be doing template inheritance. Instead, what we're going to do is have a nav bar of some kind, right? So if I just wrote nav and then did a UL in here and, did some nav bar related things. I'm not going to make a real nav bar really, but let's go ahead and just say brand. There we go. So we've got a simple nav bar with just brand and let's say contact and about. Okay, so we save that and go back into base.html. And let's get rid of this is a nav bar thing, right? So we just want to go ahead and use include. So again, curly brackets, %, include, and then the path or where that actual HTML document lives. And we'll say simply just navbar.html. So this is very, very similar. Not very similar. It is identical to our views that we created, right? So whatever we put here would be the very thing we put here. So that same path. We'll get into that more later, but this is how we can include an external template into any of our templates. So we save that and refresh, and there we go. So we now have a nav bar. Granted, it's not a very good one, but it is a nav bar that will show up on all of our pages. Cool. So the reason you do this is once your project gets complicated, once you have like a big old project, you're going to want to use this include, because then if I need to make a slight change to my navbar, I can just jump in to navbar.html. Pretty cool, very useful. So now what we want to do is actually talk about context. So like, how do I actually use things beyond just that request user that we've seen before? So I want to actually add in some new data that's coming from other places. So I'm not hard coding it every time, but rather it's coming from somewhere else.